This segment of DelmarvaLife is sponsored by For All Seasons Behavioral Health and Rape Crisis Center.
As conversations about safety and mental health continue to grow across the country, more businesses are recognizing the importance of supporting the mental well-being of their employees. You can never truly tell what's going on in someone's head until you actually talk to them.
Yeah, everything from stress to depression can be plaguing someone's mind. So how can workplaces create environments that support mental health and recognize when an employee may be struggling? Well, Beth Ann Dorman, CEO of For All Seasons Behavioral Health and Rape Crisis Center, is here to answer that question. Beth Ann, always good to see you.
Good to see you too.
So since COVID, we have seen a shift, but why do you think it's important for employees to address mental health in the workplace?
Well, you're right. We have seen a shift. When COVID happened, there started to be permission, if you will, granted to talk about mental health a little bit differently. And so we have to remember that employees are still coming to work with the same stressors that we saw during that time. There's financial stressors, there might be work pressures, there might be things happening within our family. And while the old adage of, leave family stuff at the door, that really doesn't happen. And we have to recognize that conversations are important. We know that 1 in 5 adults is working through or struggling with a mental health condition, or maybe there's someone in their family. And so if we're really thinking about the fact that people spend more time at work than they sometimes do at home, we really have to create this conversation where mental health isn't a taboo subject, but it's something that we're addressing from the minute that someone comes through the door so that we can create these healthy environments for our staff.
So what are some ways that workplaces can show their employees that mental health really matters?
I think the first thing is to just simply say that mental health matters. We know that creating connection and community is a part of how we connect. As human beings, we are not designed to operate on a solo trajectory. We are designed to connect. And so making sure that we're talking about not just work-life balance with our employees, but life balance, making sure that we are helping the employees both balance their personal and their professional responsibilities. And that doesn't mean that you just get to say, well, I can't get to it for the next 10 days. It means that the employer can say, okay, what's the barrier and how do we help you work through whatever is happening? We also just have to simply check in and just make sure that people know as employers that we don't expect employees to be like robots, that we understand that life is happening. There's also responsibilities and boundaries at the job that people need to adhere to. So really, starting that conversation around helping people provide opportunity to understand those boundaries, to talk through what's happening. And ultimately, what we want to do is we want to help people grow. And that means that we have to be having these conversations on the forefront and continuing the conversation even when things are good, because sometimes we only focus on these things when things aren't going well.
Right. Now, a lot of people don't know how to recognize when someone is struggling with mental health issues. Are there some warning signs that we could look for?
I think we get to know our coworkers, and so when someone's not showing up the way that they normally have, and so simply just sort of checking in, making sure that we're also listening when we're doing that check-in. So often we're on our way to the next meeting, or we're in the middle of a phone call, and you pass someone and say, hey, how are you? But are you really stopping and saying, no, truly, how are you doing, and giving them that space? And if you find someone who is struggling and you're not sure what to say, it is totally okay to say, I don't even have the words, but I'm just really glad you shared with me what's happening. Know that I'm here for you. Connect them with mental health professionals. And one of the things that I say to folks all the time is sometimes we have to circle back to a conversation a couple of times. And it might not be you that needs to do the circle back. So, Lisa, if I saw you in the hall and said what's happening, but I know that maybe you're going to be speaking to my colleague in a different way than you're going to speak to me, then that's where we pull folks in and say, hey, you might want to check in on Lisa. I had a conversation with her today. Maybe she needs a different person to check in on her. So really making sure that we're intentional, but we're not spreading the news of our employees far and wide. We're really being intentional about the way that we're engaging with them.
Right. Beth Ann Dorman, CEO for All Seasons, thank you so much. Very important information for everyone to take in this afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you.